Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Today's news is a game changer for your portfolio. The problem is uncertainty has been haunting crypto for years with lawsuits, regulations, mixed signals from the top. It's left all of us wondering, when will we finally get clarity? When will the market break free? Well, today that fog is lifting. We've got massive stories for you that could unlock new opportunities for investors like you. And today we're going to be deep diving into the SEC Ripple lawsuit to end after a joint agreement to drop appeals. It is finally happening, ladies and gentlemen. We're also going to be looking into Trump picking a top economic advisor to temporarily fill a crucial role at the Federal Reserve. We'll also be heading over to X to find out all of the breaking news that's happening in the crypto world today. We'll head over to Forex Factory and find out the red folder news that you need to know about this week. We're also going to head over to TradingView and check out the charts for XRP, looking at the most important resistance and support that you're going to be seeing coming up very soon. Plus, we'll be taking a look at the long-term and short-term momentum waves and so much more in today's video. So if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the crypto news like we do for you here on this channel, make sure you subscribe right now. And if you are still feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. First things first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap, check out the overall health of the crypto market. As you can see, we are trading at $3.87 trillion total market cap. We're up 3.08% in the last 24 hours. There has been $165 billion worth of trading. Fear and Greed Index is about to eclipse back into the healthy greed level. We're at 59, still in neutral. Altcoin season still has not officially kicked off. We're 36 out of 100. We need to be at that 50 level. But as we've been talking about, Bitcoin dominance is continuing to drop. We need to see it below 60 at that 59 and lower and lower. That will be the true signal of altcoin season. Bitcoin ETF inflows starting to have a little rebound, as we can see yesterday having $91 million worth of inflows. Today, $35 million worth of inflows. But when you zoom out and you take a look at the weekly right now, last week, $642 million of outflows. And so far this week, $391 million of outflows. Ethereum ETFs also rebounding last 3 days to the upside, 73 million of inflows 3 days ago. Yesterday, 35 million, and today, 45 million. But as you can see on the weekly scale, we are still outflowing this week, $311 million. Top 6 cryptos by total market cap. Bitcoin number 1 at $117,000. Ethereum number 2 at $38.97. XRP at number 3 at $3.29. Tether at number 4 at $1. BNB at number 5 at $786. And Solana at number 6 at $173. Heading over to Forex Factory, the main important news that came out today was the unemployment claims. And unfortunately, it was not a positive number. So it was forecast to have 221,000 unemployment claims, and unfortunately it came in at 226. This is the first negative report in several weeks, but the markets didn't care because we had some other very positive fundamental news that helped crypto rebound. What to look for next week? CPI will be coming out next week. Inflation numbers. We're also going to get unemployment claims again next Thursday. And on Friday, we're also going to get the retail sales numbers. Make sure you subscribe because we're going to keep you updated every single day. All right, this news is too big to wait, so let's go ahead and jump into it right now. The SEC and Ripple lawsuit is officially over after nearly 5 years. Both sides have agreed to drop their appeals, putting an end to the legal saga that started back in 2020. Here's the deal. If you've not been following along, the SEC sued Ripple, claiming that XRP token was an unregistered security. In 2023, Judge Annalisa Torres ruled that XRP sold on public exchanges isn't a security, but sales to institutional investors were. And Ripple was hit with a $125 million fine, way less than the $2 billion the SEC wanted. Both sides appealed, but now they've filed a joint motion to call it quits. And this was finalized on August 7th today, and Ripple already paid the fine. Now, the two actually came to a settlement in May and asked Judge Annalisa Torres to dissolve the injunction and lower the price to a $125 million fine, which she denied in June, saying that Ripple was required to follow federal securities laws regardless of the SEC's regulatory pivot. But now that they've both agreed to drop their appeals, they can move on. And the reason that this matters is, first, it's a huge win for Ripple and XRP holders. The lawsuit's been a dark cloud over XRP's price. With this cloud gone, XRP spiked over 4% to $3.30. And analysts are saying that it could hit $7 very soon, especially with the talk of spot XRP ETFs getting approved. And as you all know, I do cover the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs because it's very important. It really drives a lot of volume. And once XRPs gets theirs, the floodgates will be open. Bloomberg's Eric Balchunas puts the odds at 95% they will be approved this year. And the second thing is that this sets a precedent for crypto regulation. The ruling that XRP isn't a security for retail sales gives other projects a playbook to fight the SEC overreach. Plus, under Trump's second term, the SEC has been dropping cases against crypto giants like Coinbase and Binance, signaling a much friendlier regulatory vibe. This could mean more freedom for innovation and investment in crypto, which is huge for the entire market. And it was great to see over on X, Stuart Alderati posting, following the commissioner's vote today, the SEC and Ripple formally filed directly with the Second Circuit to dismiss their appeals. The end. And now back to business. So obviously, massive news coming out. It was all over X. We have Levi right here saying the SEC case is over. Smash the like button, XRP Army. I agree. If you're watching this video, you are a genius for being here. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Now, on top of that, we also have a post here from Cooper Dog Dad saying those pesky Riddlers did it again. And if you're not familiar with what's going on with the Riddlers, Mr. Poole on X, previously Twitter, was posting stuff all the time that were supposedly hints about what could potentially happen in the future, like as if he was from the future. And he posted this picture right here on August 7th of 2020, ladies and gentlemen. August 7th, 2020. Do you know what today is? It's August 7th, 2025. And what is it of? A railroad. And what did Brad Garlinghouse post today as well? No such thing as an August doldrums at Ripple. Very excited to share that we're acquiring Rail Financial. You cannot make this up, ladies and gentlemen. Ripple and Rail together will be the go-to provider of stablecoin payments infrastructure for global financial institutions around the world. Ripple will buy the stablecoin payments platform Rail for $200 million, the company said on Thursday, weeks after the U.S. President Donald Trump signed a law that raised expectations cryptocurrency tokens are about to enter the mainstream. And let's not forget the hidden road, which was just a couple of months ago when XRP and Ripple acquired Hidden Road. Well, there was more connections with the Bearable Guy and Mr. Poole connected to this as well. As we see right here, yeehaw, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year 2025. Bearable Guy 123 posting this back on 2024. And we go back into one of Mr. Poole's posts here, 7/22/2021, of a road that seems hidden. So if any of you guys know any other connections of Mr. Poole and Ripple, leave them down below in the comment section. And also, speaking of Ripple and what could be happening with Ripple, the company, let's take a listen to what David Schwartz has to say.
I think what's going to happen is there's going to be use cases where digital assets like XRP and Bitcoin make sense, where volatility is either an advantage or not a disadvantage. And there'll be other cases where a sort of more stable token like RLUSD or some other stablecoin will make more sense, where either the volatility is a disadvantage or where the recipient doesn't want to deal with the complexity of having a volatile asset. So I think you're going to see enterprise use cases in everything from trade finance to tokenized real world assets. Essentially, almost everything is a payment. Like a loan is a payment, right? If you borrow money from me, I pay it to you, and you pay me back. Tokenized securities. If you're buying Apple stock, you're spending money to buy that Apple stock. When you sell it, there's always a payment on the other side. And so I think one use case for stablecoins will be as a payment asset where the recipient doesn't want to deal with the volatility and where the recipient just wants to sort of have a fixed amount of payment. And it's especially going to be interesting for applications where the endpoint recipient of the funds is not somebody who's sort of interested in participating in the digital asset space. Like you're buying groceries. Your grocery store owner might be interested in participating in the digital asset space, but probably they just want to receive dollars. And so it allows the endpoints to not have the complexity. Whether how useful will be sort of inside the internals and the machinery, I think collateral will be one case. So like if you use a digital asset for collateral, you have to significantly over collateralize. So like if you're going to use XRP as collateral, it could have been value to market. Probably won't, but it could. And if you're using it as collateral, the person who's accepting the collateral probably doesn't want to take that risk. So it's a little awkward to use digital assets for collateral, unless if you have a lot of it and it's a tax optimization, yeah. But we're not going to rebuild the new financial system on tax optimization for people who have lots of digital assets, right? Like for collateral, like you're going to want more stable assets. And one of the interesting things from Ripple's point of view is like, prime brokerages like Hidden Road, which we're in the process of acquiring, like have a lot of collateral. And so looking at very efficient ways to use stablecoins like RLUSD to have that collateral easier to move around and more liquid and so on.
And speaking of collateral and crypto loans, check this out.
Have you built a crypto portfolio over $1 million but want to access your wealth without selling any of your coins? Well, imagine unlocking up to 85% of your portfolio's value to fund ventures like real estate, to buy other projects in the crypto space that are undervalued compared to the projects that you currently hold, or to diversify into different DeFi yield opportunities. That way you can live on the interest without selling any of your crypto. Well, we've partnered with a leading global office offering non-recourse crypto loans for investors with portfolios starting at $1 million. The same company that is trusted by the world's largest institutions and investors because, as you already know, the billionaires don't sell their crypto, they borrow against it. So if you're ready to unlock up to 85% of your portfolio's value without selling any of your coins and you have a portfolio with at least $1 million, then email us at team@bullrunners.com. You're going to see our email contact in the description below, and we'll get you connected with the company that has helped clients like ours north of $100 million borrow against their crypto without selling any of it. So reach out to start a conversation with our team right now at team@bullrunners.com, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. And then jumping back into some even more interesting riddles, a lot of people are saying that David Schwartz is actually the bearable guy. And one of the things that's interesting that was pointed out by XRP on X.com was David Schwartz multiple times in the past has used this same exact statement. Sire, the peasants are revolting. Yes, I know. That's why I don't let them in the castle. And he says it multiple times. Which brings us back to the bearable guy post in December of 2024 for the Happy New Year post. Who would say something like that to, say, possibly the king? Or a lot of people think that this would equate to Brad Garlinghouse being the leader of Ripple and an bearable guy stating something like that to him. So let me know down in the comments, is David Schwartz the bearable guy? So what an amazing day for Ripple. The SEC case becomes officially over. They also announced the fact that they did acquire the stablecoin platform Rail for $200 million. The next step, obviously, is Ripple getting their bank. Well, right now, 42 banks are blocking Ripple's banking license. The BPI, representing 42 banks in the U.S., has filed objections to Ripple's banking license application. Members include JP Morgan, Citi, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, among others. And speaking of banks, let's talk about the biggest bank in the United States, the private Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve Board of Governors member Adriana Kugler announced her resignation on August 1st, paving the way for Trump's nominee at the U.S. Central Bank. Trump will be picking his top economic advisor, Stephen Moran, to temporarily fill a crucial seat on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. And this news broke recently, and it's got everyone talking. Now, why is that? Well, the Federal Reserve controls interest rates and monetary policy, which directly impact crypto markets. Lower interest rates tend to boost risk assets like Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, while tighter policy can cool things down, as we've seen, and crypto is still pumping through this tied up scenario of 4.5% interest rates. The next Fed board member will have significant influence over the country's monetary policy, including interest rates. The incoming nomination, which must be approved by the Senate, follows Kugler's resignation on August 1st. No reason was given for her departure. Moran's temporary role could be a stepping stone to a permanent seat, giving crypto a louder voice in the United States financial policy. And this matters because a Fed that's open to crypto could stabilize markets and attract more mainstream investors. It's a signal that the United States might be gearing up to embrace digital assets like never before. And as you all know, Trump has clashed with Fed Chair Jerome Powell, whom he nominated during his first term. But President Trump has publicly challenged the Fed's independence in determining federal interest rates. Trump thinks that Powell is doing this out of spite because he doesn't like him. He thinks it's a political move, which is definitely a possibility. Let me know your opinion down below. Is the interest rate stuck at 4.5 because Jerome Powell is doing it as a political vengeance against Trump? All right, so let's jump over to XRP in the charts. A couple of things that I want to point out to you guys. The long-term momentum on the daily charts is still very bullish, very exciting. The short-term momentum, as we talked about now for about a week and a half, because it was starting to get down to zero here back in July 26th, and it's been at zero for quite some time, it is finally starting to make a move to the upside. Remember, the red-green arrow is the short-term momentum wave, and we follow that. As long as the long-term momentum wave is bullish, we wait for a reset, and when this starts to push up, we see obvious great price action to the upside. Now, on top of that, the midterm momentum wave is starting to curl to the upside as well on the daily, which is also very promising for us. Then on top of that, I know a lot of you guys don't believe in this. Some of you do, but we do also have a full moon about to hit us. Last full moon we had was back here on July 10th, and we had an absolute moonshot to the upside. And now on August 9th, which is literally 2 days away, August 9th, we will have another full moon, which could propel us to even new highs. But stepping aside from the woo-woo stuff, we had an amazing day today. 34-cent candle to the upside, an 11.49% move, which was fantastic. The new daily candle has gotten kicked off. It's starting to the downside just a little bit. The one thing that I always warn about is when we have some sort of massive move like this, creating a fair value gap, we'll see if that gets filled back to $3 or not. We've pumped out, retested the zone, and then pumped to the upside. Now, as you can see, before this candle yesterday, we had this massive fair value gap to the upside. It is now penetrated into that level, basically filling 90% of that fair value gap from this candle to the downside. As far as resistance, what we're looking for on standard supply and demand, we have a resistance that'll be kicking in for us at $3.55. The resistance we were looking to break before was the candle bodies here. We do officially have the candle body close here, and that was at $3.23. We did break through that. There is definitely a possibility we come and retest off of this over the next day or two before we make our move to the upside. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, okay, well, where is price going? Well, if we draw a fib from the most recent high to the most recent swing low, and we take a look at the Fibonacci extension, obviously getting back to the previous high, which would be here, $3.66. After we break through that, the next level of the extension gets us up to here, $4.24. So this is on standard charting. Now let's take a look quickly over at the spider lines chart. So as we talked about, price pushing up right here and bouncing off of our $3.10 spider line. That did happen on August 5th. We had the pullback down to this level of the $2.90 zone. And then we pushed back through the 302, and then we got through the 310, and we even pushed all the way to the 323. Now, the next spider line level that we will see coming into play for a resistance is $3.42. And then the most important spider line resistance that we have not fully been able to break just yet. We've wicked into it multiple times. We've also bodied the candle multiple times. That's our red dotted line. Back in the day, all the way back in January, that was our high at that moment when price rejected right off that level when it was $3.36. Then our newest all-time high, also rejecting in this level. So now price on this same dotted line, which was $3.40 back in January, now is a resistance at $3.58. And then after we break that, our next level up here is $3.86. And then take a look at this. We start to get really exciting because we can get up into the $4.80 level. Then we get up into the $5.48 level. Then we also have the extended levels up here, $15.41. Then all the way up here, $30. So exciting times ahead indeed for XRP. And now another thing that I was looking at today that I don't look at very often because it is so long term. But let's take a look at this. So we have our 3-day. Our 3-day is bullish. Short-term momentum started to have a slight pullback to the 75 level, and it's going to bounce if we have a continued move. The new 3-day candle literally just kicked off just now as well. But then we take a look at the weekly chart. Has not maxed out to the upside yet. So there's still weekly momentum left in the XRP move to the upside. But take a look at this. I just saw this just yesterday when I was looking at the charts. The 3-week. This, you want to talk about taking time to make a move. Look at this 3-week. Our 3-week short-term momentum had fully reset to zero and is starting to make the break to the upside. The last time that our 3-week momentum broke back down to zero was all the way back on June 17th, 2024. And then the 3-week move all the way up to the 100 level which actually peaked at that all-time high when we got into those levels of the $3.40, then had a short-term momentum wave reset, short-term as in the red-green line. This is on a long-term scale because there were 3-week candles here, but we're starting to make the crank to the upside. If we measure out the last move when this broke up, this actually started a long time ago, don't get me wrong, 34 cents, and this moved up into $3.40. This was a $3.01 move, or 788%. So if we go from the zeroed out level, which is this one, and we extend this out into 788%, that gets us into the $24 range, $24, $25 XRP, if this full momentum wave plays out to the upside. So we'll continue to keep a look at this 3-week chart because this is very exciting. Long-term momentum is bullish. Short-term momentum has had a reset from the bottom to the upside, and our midterm momentum continued to maintain that 100 level. If you would like to get more insights on how to read the charts, click on the link down below, get started with Altcoin Pro University, and then head over into the classroom. It's actually a 14-day free trial. You can literally come in, take the entire technical analysis essentials course in the 14 days. If you're not satisfied, you can go ahead and cancel your membership there. Or if you love it, continue to stay a member. We'd be glad to have you. Check this out.
Hey, bull runners, check this out. If you want to learn how to find the next 10x, 50x, or even 100x altcoin in this video, listen to this. Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1 and is currently still up over 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. And the bull run is just getting started. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers.